My destiny will only be found in our destiny. My purpose will only be realized in our purpose. There may be different body parts, and some body parts may carry more spiritual authority, leadership positions, different gifts, different talents, different experiences. But it's still a plurality of body parts, needing and depending on each other, realizing a purpose and a destiny together. When God saw me in my mother's womb, and He saw all of my days, as David said, in my mother's womb, when He saw my days, and He looked around me, and I'm still in my mother's womb, guess who else He saw lurking around the shadows of my mother's womb? He saw you. And when He saw you in your mother's womb, He saw me. He saw a people that was born exactly when God determined, placed exactly where God determined. Now I know we're a little thin today. We've started early this year carousing about. It's incredible. You're going to see pretty much a different praise team up here every week, it sounds like to me. You're going to see people playing things you didn't even know they could play, and some Sundays we didn't even know it until we got up here and tried it. And sometimes it won't even work out the way we hoped. We're hoping for miracles on some Sundays. We're still going to decide who's going to play drums next week. Jack, you're open to someone else jumping up there, right? But even in this small congregation today, how many of you guys would say, by lifting your hand, that you moved here from somewhere else? Wow. Over half. Closer to 2/3 of the people in this room, right here, right now, and trust me, it speaks for the bigger picture, was moved here from somewhere else. Let's see, what's the furthest point you could come here from and still be in this country? How many here are from California? Let's see, and some of you opened up a map, closed your eyes, and went like that. Coincidence that it happened to be here, or divine providence? Some of you moved here from McDowell County. You definitely should be saying divine providence. It's a joke. People that come here from McDowell County end up being some of the best, hardest working people you'll ever meet in your life. Did I redeem myself? Am I safe to leave this building? Safe to go out in the parking lot? Because McDowell County folks still got shotguns hanging up in the rack of their back window. I redug the well, didn't I? In all seriousness, I want you to think about it for a second. I'm not from here. I grew up around here. I call this home. This is my home. This is my territory. I wasn't born here. That's where I live. I left here. Didn't really want to come back. This is my home. Anyone here from Texas? No one here today from South Africa, is there? They're out horsing around this week, aren't they? Andre and I talk about it all the time. They moved here from South Africa to train horses. They ended up in the northern part of West Virginia. They were there for a while. They ended up in a small church that was preaching an incredible kingdom message, very much forerunners from where we were at the time, way ahead of where we were at. They came here, and it was one of those few families that came in, plugged into right where we were at, and could be a reinforcement to where we were trying to go. It was just incredible. When he came in, and it was just a couple Sundays that the Foreys were here, and my wife was talking about some of these families last week that opened up newspapers and saw ads for Cornerstone Family Church and service times and came and checked it out. And we said, well, how'd you find out about it? I said, well, the ad in the newspaper. It's like, okay, what ad in the newspaper? Cindy went back home to get the trading journal to show us the ad, and it wasn't in there. Woo! Sounds like divine providence, doesn't it? Sounds like God very intentionally connecting the dots. God bringing people from around the world even, bringing them to a place to share a purpose, a destiny, a mission, a ministry, a life together. A life together. A life together. We look at God bringing us together here and bringing us from all over the place. And I don't have to tell you, if you come from other places, there's always a cultural learning curve when you come here. And trust me, it's not really as much about you getting used to us as us getting used to you. You people come from other places and you come here and it's just like, you guys are weird. We don't know if you know that you're weird. And we see the confusion sometimes, the way you look at us like there's something wrong with us. Come on, California people, get real. You see what's going on the West Coast. You think we're the ones that are strange? Please. God brings us here and He collects us and he puts us in places together. We've got 3 California families. 3 California. And we've had others, but they've had to move on. We get a lot of job relocation that comes through the area. God handpicking people for all kinds of weird reasons and bringing you here. And here. And when we come here and we come in this room together and we hang out long enough, we sure find out quick that it's not because we all have everything in common. We sure don't all agree on everything. We sure don't see a lot of things the same way. In fact, what we learn real quick is Solomon's great reality: as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. How many knows what I'm talking about? God bringing people together and beginning to use them very selectively, hand-picked people, God bringing them together very intentionally. God hand-picks people and says, okay, I need you there to be part of that, I need you part of that, and you're not quite ready, but it's okay because I got a wet rock there waiting on you that's going to sharpen your knife. You're a little dull right now, but buddy, when I get done with you, you're not going to be so dull anymore. And people come in and some people hear the message and go, wow, man, I've never heard messages like this. This is really good. Y'all preaching about right here, right now. And I've never heard that. I just heard about let's get out of here, right now. I mean, look, we're in the Appalachian Mountains. People are, right here, right now. Let's get out of here. And it's like, a kingdom now message, a purpose-driven message now. Some people come in and they connect with it and go, yes. And other people come in and go, do what? And they want to leave, but they won't leave. And it's like, I want to leave, Pastor Scott, but the Lord won't let me. And then 2 years later, they're one of the biggest voices in the house proclaiming the kingdom of God. Peter talks about us being living stones. Living stones, if you know anything at all about masonry, they didn't really use the nice little square cinder blocks back in those days. So if Peter's referencing living stones, he's talking about stones being pulled out of the mountain. And if you try to fit them together, it ain't going to work. So what do you got to do to a stone to get it to fit to another stone? Got to carve on it, right? You got to carve on it. And some hold up well to the carving and others run from the carving as hard as they can go. But God brings us together very intentionally because whatever I need carved, He knows just the person to bring in that's really going to rub me the right way. The right way. Some people come in and they're so lovable. Others come in and they're so despicable. Some come in and go, man, you remind me of Jesus. Others come in, it's like, you remind me of the devil. And yet God, through divine providence, brings us all together to rub on each other. And that's why I told these guys, it's like, man, when you duke it out with someone else, man, you're just a blow away from your best friend probably. Man, when you have it out with someone, if you will not leave at that moment and you will just push through that, those will always become your best friends because now you have discovered each other on an emotional level that would have never happened if someone didn't rub somebody the wrong way. God knows what He's doing. We all want to surround ourselves with people who see just like us, think just like us, smell just like us, look just like us. Doesn't seem to be God's plans. It's almost like His ways are not our ways.